The man who lives at the end of this long driveway has lived a life he hasn't always been proud of.
That's what made the 60s and 70s so dynamic.
It all started back in 1945. Larry Plamondon was conceived and born in a Traverse City mental hospital.
Both of my parents were patients there, suffering from alcoholism.
And both parents were of Native American descent.
My father was a mixed-blood Ottawa. My mother was a mixed-blood Ojibwe.
At 18 months, he was adopted by the Plamondons, a hard-working Catholic family.
I was always somewhat alienated from family and school and community.
Angry and always in trouble, he left high school in the 11th grade. As a drifter, he was becoming an alcoholic and dabbling in drugs. While traveling in the South, he witnessed the civil rights struggles.
I have a dream.
And I actually saw the drinking fountains marked white and coloreds, and I saw the gas stations with outhouses out back for the colored folks and indoor restrooms for the white folks. And that kind of upset my sense of justice.
These are times of change.
Joining the resistance movement, Plamondon finally had a focus for his anger.
We didn't have to accept that possession of marijuana was 10 years to 20 years. We didn't have to accept that if you're 18 you have to go to Vietnam and kill brown people or get killed yourself. We don't have to accept that women get 50% of the wages that men.
This action is necessary.
Impressed by the mission of the powerful Black Panther Party, Plamondon and a friend, John Sinclair, decided to form their own revolutionary group, the White Panther Party.
I was the Minister of Defense. I was probably noted as the most militant, the most outlandish rhetoric.
In 1968, a CIA recruiting office in Ann Arbor was bombed, and Larry Plamondon found himself charged with that crime.
Well, I've never admitted to bombing the CIA office, and I won't, and I don't know anyone in their right mind who would ever admit to bombing a CIA office.
Plamondon, facing trial, went on the run and landed on the FBI's most wanted list. In 1968, a CIA office in Ann Arbor was bombed, and Larry Plamondon was charged with the crime. He was one of the founders of the White Panther Party, a radical group devoted to cultural revolution in the late 60s. Faced with a choice, he went on the run.
Also figuring into that calculation was that if I run and go underground, that it'll raise the profile of our whole organization a little bit, and which will gain us more support.
This landed Plamondon on the FBI's 10 most wanted list, so he left the country.
I went to the Scandinavian countries, spent some time there, ultimately went to Frankfurt and then to Rome and then to Algeria, where I stayed with Eldridge Cleaver from the Black Panther Party, and he was kind of the leader of a small American exile community in Algiers.
But Plamondon came back to the U.S. and was on his way to another hideout in the Upper Peninsula when he was caught. State police pulled over the car he was in for simply littering.
The driver reached down and picked up some beer cans that were on the floor of the vehicle, and he kind of flung them out the door.
Back to face a trial, Plamondon's bombing charges were eventually dismissed due to illegal wiretaps. A short time later, the White Panther Party dissolved. But Plamondon still struggled with an alcohol problem. He was still restless and finally decided to seek out his parents' Native American heritage.
I wasn't raised in the culture and had no connection to the culture, and I thought it would just be opportunistic to start claiming to be Native.
He finally had the history he longed for.
It gave me a history. It gave me, wow, this is where I come from. Up until then, my history started in 1945. I didn't have any grandparents. I didn't have any aunties or uncles.
Larry Plamondon was finally home. He's written a book detailing his life, and these days he's discovered a new spirituality. He's been sober for 22 years, has embraced his heritage, even becoming a master storyteller for his tribe.
Well, I have a level of serenity and peace in my life that I never knew existed, and I never even knew. This is another one of those things that you don't know you're missing it until you find it.